No, I've been down to the Chicago Botanic.
I went there on the Thursday, the week before last, and it was raining. It really was good.
Ian, I got a question for you.
Sure. No, I've
Hey,
been down to
when do you
the
plan on
Chicago.
getting Jim Karofsky on Jim Hayes lens that you got for the Christmas?
I It's still sitting next to me. I will send it.
Okay, because I know we asked you about 2 months ago.
I know, and it is
I know
right
you showed me
right
it
here.
right there, and
Still
that
sitting
was
here. I
two
know.
months ago.
I'm so backlogged on stuff. I know. I'll get it out soon.
Because we'll have to charge you a tariff on it pretty soon, and then a penalty.
You should see what my emails are like. It's brutal.
Well, not bad. We got 23. Okay, Linnea, you can start.
Okay, good evening, everybody. Um, First thing, welcome to May. It's beautiful out there today. I was so impressed with Ellen's newsletter as always, but all the I want to say the prize winners, is that the right word? For the photographers for the 2025 spring Wacko competition. I think Jesse, Roger, Ian, Jeff, Jane, Jeff, Ken, and Jim all received awards. And if you haven't seen their photos, they're fantastic. Really impressive. Tonight for me, we have our show and tell. It's going to be Jeff, Klug, and then Pat Lynch in that order. Next month, we're going to have Randy and then Mark Van Cleve. Tonight, we have our slideshow presentation, which is Boca, if I'm saying that correctly. But also, we're going to add in some of the great zoo animal shots. They were just really exceptional. For June 3rd's meeting, we're going to have flowers, indoor macro. And I do think, Brian, would you mind talking a little bit about the upcoming field trip at the greenhouse where people can get their flower shots from?
Right, yeah, so that's this coming Saturday, and they do open at 8 a.m. Ellen had published 9 a.m., but there's no reason why we can't start at 8. I did stop by on Saturday and saw Carl and Heidi, and they're the flowers are looking pretty good. You know, some of them are a little bit behind, but I think it'll be a good day. So again, they open it up at 8, and that's this coming Saturday. The main parking lot was rather filled, so they do ask that we park around back just to free up the parking lot for the paying customers. I did do some shopping there. Of course, I bought some dahlias, but they got a lot of dahlias there that I'm sure there'll still be a lot left there. It's coming Saturday, and whatever other flowers you do want. So we always encourage people to shop there. Do support Shady Lane because they're so hospitable to us. Heidi and Carl both recognize me, and after all these years, and anyway, it looks to be a good day, and I have no idea what the weather is that far out. Hopefully, it won't be too sunny, but inside it always works out one way or another. So, hope to see you all on Saturday, Shady Lane. Any questions? Been doing it for years, and it's one of our more popular events. So we usually get around 10 or so out.
Hey, Brian, I'm sorry if you didn't say, is there a special area for us to park?
Around back, please.
Okay.
Ignore the main lot just because, like when I was there Saturday, it was pretty well filled.
Right.
So park around back. and then coming through one of the back entrances, please.
Okay. So the slideshow for next month is going to be flower shots. Ian's presentation last month just totally, I don't want to say demystified it for me, but your shots are incredible. And then to see how you do it, it's like, wow, maybe we can do that too. It was, I'm looking forward to seeing the photos from there. And if you're not into the flowers, yeah, go ahead, Ellen. Was that you?
I just want to make sure Jane, excuse me, I was looking at Jesse. Jane needs the all member close-ups, and I didn't put a specific date on there, but I think, when would you like those, Jane? Like now, I know, but
You know, I haven't looked at a calendar. What's our meeting date?
June 3rd.
June 3rd. Well, if I could have them by the 26th, that would be good.
And didn't Jeff, I mean, Ellen, you would have printed it. Didn't Jeff do a great article on close-up photography? I think it was like the September.
September,
issue?
I think, yeah.
Yeah. So if anybody has any
So May
questions on
20
that.
May 26th, huh, Jane?
Yeah, that sounds good.
May, is that Memorial Day? Yeah, May 26th is Memorial Day.
Well, everybody will have all of Memorial Day to get them to me.
No excuses. I'll send out a reminder, Jane.
Thank you.
I better write that down, otherwise I'm in Ian's category right now, so yeah, really backed up on emails and don't even want to disclose the number. I'm trying to sync with other things right now. Send reminder to send the close up for the all member show by the 26th. So probably a week before, although some of you wait till the last minute, but that's to be expected.
Yeah, if you can just, label them as, Menomonee Falls slideshows so that I'm getting a lot of spam emailed, so label
Okay.
or I'll miss it.
Menomonee Falls slideshow.
Yeah, just something that draws my attention.
Right. So they don't go into I know I've been getting recipes, for God's sakes, what did I sign up for? So I don't know. I have to fix that. All right. Done.
Okay, so along with the close-ups to Jane, again, flowers to myself and Ellen, but the other option that we threw in there was macro. So if somebody doesn't want to go out and shoot flowers, but has some great macro shots, possibly from this February, those can be used as well for the President's Challenge. Jesse, I just noticed, are you sitting outside in front of a camper?
I am.
Okay, I think
Watching
the
the
next meeting
squirrels
is in
and the
front of her
birds.
camper. Looks wonderful, let me tell you.
It's 82 here today.
Where are you?
Do you know where Marshfield is?
Yeah.
We're straight west of Marshfield, about 40 minutes, Neilsville.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Well, field trip suggestion by Jesse sometime, but that's a different topic. Tonight then, okay, that's the slideshows. Tonight then we're going to have the waterfall how-tos. That's going to be by Ken and Jeff. Upcoming, we have field trips. Brian's already mentioned about the Shady Lane. And then Brian, I understand June 7th, is that going to be the zoo trip, the outside view?
Yeah, the aviary is open now, so people can go inside too. We won't hold them to outdoor, but yeah, it's I need to check as to when the zoo opens. Right now, they open at 9:30. When's our next camera club meeting? Do we have a camera club meeting for June 7th?
June 3rd we do,
It's
yes.
June
Yeah, okay.
3rd.
We'll give you. We'll
But
talk
I
more
just-
about that.
Okay.
What?
I just checked I checked the website for the zoo and they did say 9:30, so I don't know how
I
often
think
they
that goes
change it.
until, yeah, okay. Yeah.
But
Again, the
as of
aviary's
this
open,
past
so,
week, it was 9:30.
yeah, we'll go with that. We trust them.
So we'll carry that one on in June. The other thing that was just on the calendar that Ellen put out was our annual ice cream event, and that is July 9th. Ellen, the one thing I noticed, is there a standard time that we meet? And it's this year, it's at the old Falls Village Park,
Falls
which
Village.
Jeff is
I
part of.
don't
It's
know.
gorgeous.
What time can we get there, Jeff? I think we usually got there around 6:30, 6 o'clock.
We basically can do it whatever time we'd like. 6 o'clock works fine for me. I'll be there and be opening things up. At least the public house and the pavilion's open, so we have a nice table that you can set up the ice cream and that on. So if 6 works, that's fine. Somebody wants to come earlier, they can.
Yeah, I think we've
And
done
walk-
6 in the past. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think we've done from 6 to 8 in the past. Yeah, you're right, Joe. Let's leave starting time at 6. But if, as you said, if somebody wants to get there earlier, that would be fine.
Again, it is a gorgeous park if you have not been there. John, I saw your pictures from the Revolution. Was that this past weekend?
Yeah, that was this weekend.
Oh my
I haven't
gosh.
seen John's photos yet, but
They're
I-
amazing, as always.
it
But
was a
anyways, I
great
mean,
turnout.
yeah, so many different events there. It's just a really cool place to be at. Okay, so that's kind of what's up and coming. Anything, I'm guessing I'm gonna default to WACO and PSA. What's going on with that?
WACO really doesn't have anything going on right now. Ken can, I know we got 2 workshops that are not workshops, but photo shoots coming up, but I don't even have the information of where and when. I don't think that's till more summertime.
Yeah, I think they were gonna try to do historic Milwaukee tour in August and
And you got your sunflower shoot that you'll do.
and we'll have this sunflower shoot again. That'll also be in August. Those would be the 2 earlier things. And they also have Birds of Prey that they'll have in October. I believe it's the first Saturday in October. And then they're also having a trip to Green Bay for the Tall Sailboat Festival.
Yeah, the WACO newsletter will have a lot of that information when I get it put out. I'm still trying to
Okay.
gather all that information. It should be out, God, we're almost at the middle of the month. Hopefully in another 10 days, I'll have that put together and out. And that will have a lot of the events that we're going to be doing. It's a little harder now for me. I stepped down as program chair, so I'm not running it, so I don't get the information as easily as we used to. So
I will try to
PSA,
put the upcoming events in the we do have a July newsletter, yes? Yeah, I'll put the
Yeah.
information in the July newsletter of upcoming events that we may have over before we meet again in September. So, all right,
Yeah.
I'll talk to you then.
Yeah, PSA, they have their weekend coming up the middle of May, where they're going to Dubuque, Iowa. Members of PSA chapter can go. If you want to become a chapter member, you need to join PSA National, and then you can join the chapter for $5 a year. They've got a very interesting weekend going there. There's a lot of different things to see in Dubuque. So that's what PSA has going. Then they take a summer break and they won't start till November of next year. So, and by then I can let you know what's going on for that group. So
Digital
that's
forum?
Digital forum, I have a Nicole Brennan that is doing night sky photography, the basics of night sky photography. And that's coming up this month. Next month, hopefully, Jim Korupski is going to give a talk on processing photos in a certain way, if he's up to it and has gotten it put together or not. And if not, then I'll be working on something else. We do have one in, I believe it's August, with lens babies, learning what they're about and how to use them. They're sort of medium priced lenses that throw stuff out of focus and do all sorts of things. So Jamie Davidson Konarski is going to be doing that.
Who you having do it?
Yeah,
Jamie's really
yeah.
good.
Jamie's real good at it. We've had her before, and I talked directly with Lens Baby. Their Lens Baby wants to get involved with different camera clubs, so they're starting to set stuff up for us. So we'll probably have some more things as I talk to Lens Baby some more. And next season, we'll be talking with DxO a little bit more about doing presentations on NIC filters and their photo processing setup, which their name escapes me. I'm constantly looking if anybody has suggestions for speakers for Digital Forum. I'm on the lookout. I'm sort of run through all the people that I know and trying to find new people. So let me know if you've got anybody worth bringing on, and not costing me more than about $300 for a program. Hopefully 100 or 200. So that's basically about it.
Ellen or Patty, Ellen, I know you put in the newsletter, you were clear on it, but do you mind talking a little bit about the t-shirts or just that it's on hold until next month, or if I should move on, just let me know.
This has been a horrible month again, and so my intention was to send the people who volunteered the finalized ones so we can make a determination of about 5 or so logos, so to speak, to vote on, but I got involved in too many things. No, life involved me in too many other things. That's what happened. So I apologize for that, but again, that weighs on my mind once in a while, because it's like, oh, please don't say anything. Please don't say anything. So do you have anything to add, Patty? Until we actually have some finalized ones for everybody to look at, the rest of it is like the details. I think you can go back to some of the previous newsletters and read about the the cost, we might have a better idea once we know what size the logo will be. And I think we're just going, or whatever garments it will be on can be put together then too. If some people want it on a hat or a bag or a shirt, or you said there would be a website, but I don't think we're to that point yet.
Okay, the only thing that's really changing right now is that all the tariffs are kicking in and all the prices on a lot of the goods are going up. Most of the sources where we get our items from are planning to raise pricing as of June 1st. It won't be like a huge amount, but it'll still be, more. So, we'll probably, at that point, we're going to have to requote everything.
Okay.
But, we can cross that bridge when we get there. Because, who knows what's really going to happen. It changes on a daily basis.
We sort of need to get the logo picked out. If you want to
Right.
send me the logo, I can post it on a separate web page so people can see the different ones. And if nothing else, maybe I can figure out a way that people can vote or comment on it. But I think that's the first step.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it'll all fall into place once there's a logo, because the rest is easy.
And that's always the hardest part, is getting a logo that everybody agrees on.
Or the majority agrees.
Yeah, or the majority. But if you want to send me the logos, I'll be glad to create a separate page to put them on so everybody can at least look at them, study them, and maybe make comments or suggestions of, changes that could be made.
So what I'll do is send the members who have volunteered next, what is this week? Tuesday. Within the next week and a half, I will send the forms out so we can narrow the selections down, because there were just some that weren't going to work, period. I think simply from the standpoint they were too intricate. And I think, Patty, I think you wanted to fix something on the logo that you had, or something, the columns, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, because we kind of cobbled that together for the part on the gazebo. We were just kind of cobbled that together in a hurry, and then we had to actually get back to work and do our jobs. So
yeah, I know that's important.
So the girl that was
like that,
the girl that was helping me had a bunch of data entry stuff to do. So
okay,
we had to kind of stop. But we have an art team at our disposal. They've actually hired on we had like a whole team of people working for us, but they've actually hired on one of the people so that we can get our art back quicker. But they can help, fix that part of it with no problem.
Okay.
I'll clean it up.
All right.
So what I'm taking away is, Ellen, I don't mention it next month unless you send me an email saying it's okay to talk about. Is that right?
Yeah, we will be able to talk about it.
Okay.
Yeah, I promise
Right.
you. I will commit to that. So
okay, good. Then we're going to go into the show and tells with Jeff first, but does anybody have any questions on anything so far, to direct to anybody?
I just wanted to real quick bring up one other event that's starting. It's starting May 25th is the first Cars and Coffee meetup at the Lakefront Marina. So it's May 25th at 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. You just show up. People show up with their cars, park in the marina parking lot right by the lakefront there. I take pictures, people hang out, most people just hang out, but there's a bunch of other people who show up and take pictures too, and a big variety of different cars. You never know what's going to happen. So just figure I'd mention
What's it called? What's it called again?
Cars and Coffee Milwaukee. I'll throw in the chat
Okay.
their little
Okay.
logo, or they have a Facebook page. That's how I learned of them. But I'll
Okay.
throw the picture here. It should be coming through. Yeah, it should be coming through right now in the chat. But Sunday, May 25th at the Lincoln Memorial, the McKinley Marina lot, 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. So that's Memorial Day weekend. And they do them throughout the summer. Every month they usually do them. This is the opening one. It was a lot of fun. I must have gone like 4 or 5 times last summer.
Anything else? If not, Jeff, just because alphabetically you're first, would you like to do your?
No, we're going to see if this works.
I understand that. I get that completely.
Well, I've had some you'll have to tell me right away if the music comes through garbled. Now, this show is a little bit longer than we normally have, but it's sort of a promo for what we're doing over at Old Falls Village Park. It's all the different events we had last year, plus one event we had so far this year. And I threw it together for a talk I had to give. And let's see if this will work. I suppose I should share my screen. Is always a good start. Okay. Is that coming through clear?
Yes.
The pilgrim slowly stumbles down the mystery of life.
Now, this was a Rev War that we had last year. This year we had even more people attending, and had some good weather and some bad weather, but it was a very interesting day. Dr. Franklin was very interesting. He looks a lot like Benjamin Franklin. And the Revolutionary War event is put on by Friends of Old Falls Village, but the main group that does it is NWTA, and they do most of the work. These are all great educational events for both adults and children. Then we have World War II that's coming up in the middle of June. I believe it's June 14th and 15th, somewhere that middle weekend. These reenactors are as crazy as reenacting as we are with photography. And again, it's another great way to learn about World War II and the tools and weapons that they had and all the support that they had. They love to talk to people. They have many battles going on during the day. And events, you can just wander around the camps and, talk to the different people. A lot of fun for kids.
But at the end of his days, you will hear the Father say, well done, faithful servant, you are a child of mine.
And we also have great music there usually. A couple times we have a USO show on a Friday night before the main event starts. That's all live. Then we have the Roaring 20s. It's a free event. Come listen to music, play different games that they would have played in the Roaring 20s. We'll have wine and beer and soda and such, and just music playing most of the afternoon. So it's just a fun day in the park. We're hoping to bring in all sorts of exciting events. Then we have the Vietnam War, another great educational event for both kids and adults, and a great time to get interesting photos. The weather's going to be a lot better by then, and lots of battles again, reenactments for people to watch. Sort of fun. After this event, they let the kids run out and pick up all the expended brass that's on the ground, which helps us so we don't have to worry about cleaning it up. The kids just sweep through there. This is the group of reenactors that did most of the battles last year. 10 years old, sweep through the yard, and within 2 minutes they had collected 1,000 Easter eggs. So those were a lot of the events. We have all the same events again this year, and I'm sorry this is sort of a shameless plug for Friends of Old Falls Village, but the money we raise from these events goes to keeping the park running. We do the grounds and the gardens and put on all these events with a small amount of people. If you want to come and take pictures, you let me know and I'll get you a free pass in. Most of the events cost $10 for adults, $5 for kids. And all I ask is that you send me the photos, because unfortunately I don't get to take many photos at these events. I'm busy working. You'll usually find me either at the admission booth or at the beer garden selling beer. But it's a fun thing and something that supports the village of Menomonee Falls. And if you want to volunteer and have fun just helping out at some of these events, we're always looking for volunteers as well. So that's my shameless plug and show. I ran about 2 minutes over what we normally would like, but hope you enjoyed the photos that I got last year, and hopefully we'll see you at the park.
Thank you, Jeff. That park
No
is just
problem.
amazing to me. And even though you showcase the events, just the greenery, and I did like an engagement shoot there the one time. Just the scenery in that park is just absolutely stunning.
Yeah, and we're really improving the gardens this year, and especially around the gazebo and a couple different areas, and it's going to be even nicer. Our goal is to get this to be as pretty of a park as a regular nature park. So
It's gorgeous.
we're working hard at that.
Pat, are you ready to showcase your photos?
Sure. Okay, I got about a 4.5 minute video, give or take. After, first of all, it's spring. We're going to be doing the photo shoot coming up here in May 10th. And then, of course, with Ian's presentation last week, coming to think of maybe I'll do a video of my flower shoots. So it's a variety of flowers I've done over the years. Most of them are all done in natural light. Some of them are light painted, and it's got a variety of them. The music I'm playing with it is music I created in GarageBand, so we don't have to worry about it on YouTube. So now I need to share and then go for the sound. Is that how it goes, Jeff?
Yeah, make sure you click the button for sound, and then check the box below it for optimize for video as well.
Okay, let's see. Optimize video sharing.
And sound should be right above that.
You guys, okay. A share sound. Okay, it's already checked. Okay, so share. Okay, now what's my password?
We can't hear you, Pat. I'm not sure, and you're not muted.
Can't hear you, and we can't even see the video.
Actually, I almost think he's frozen.
No,
still
he's moving.
blinking.
He's still there.
Is he?
They definitely disabled his audio somehow.
Maybe it's me, but I don't see him moving.
No, he's moved a few times. I see him. He's moving his head right
Is
now.
he? Okay.
Yeah. At least on my screen. He's trying to talk right now.
Yeah, see, I'm not seeing lips move or anything on my end. I don't know what's going on.
He's not even blinking.
Yeah, I see him moving. His head is going back and forth slowly, not
Mhm.
much. And then his lips move occasionally. I think he's doing the slideshow, but he doesn't know that we're seeing it or hearing him.
Well,
The
at
last
least
thing
we
he
can see
said
you,
was
Tony.
that he was trying to get his password into something.
Yeah.
Then we lost him.
Yep, now we
Oh,
lost him
yep.
completely.
Now we lost him. Yep. All of a sudden, his spot got replaced by Jesse. I was like, "Whoa, what just happened?"
Hey,
Nope.
Jeff,
There you are.
Yep.
seems to want my password. I'm not sure if it's my Zoom password or
I'm not sure why it would want your password. Are you on Windows or Apple? I can't.
Apple.
Apple?
Yeah. So
It might want a
share.
password, but you shared before on that computer, right?
Yeah. I think I have. So let me
It
try it
might be
again.
might be the Apple password. Yeah, now it's working.
Okay.
Yep.
All right.
Yeah, it's the Apple asking for that info, so I think now
right.
you've got it working right.
All right. You see the screen now?
Yep, we can see it.
All right. Here we go.
Yeah, and I can hear the music.
Okay.
Pat, that was neat. The music was great too.
Oh, good.
Matt, you
Really
said
was
garage
nice.
band? You made that music?
Well, you can do that in GarageBand because they've got different rhythms in there. And you can
I'm
go there.
sorry,
You
that's
can,
a website, right?
no, it's a GarageBand part of Windows, or I'm sorry, part of what do you
It's a
call it? On the
yeah, it's a
Mac.
free Apple program for creating music.
Yeah.
You
Now I
can
gotta
put all
get back
sorts
to
of
work.
tracks in.
It's really
Oh,
cool.
I
My
was.
garage bands in my life have involved drum kits in my garage, and so that's why I'm like, what? That's beautiful. Nothing I've ever heard in my house.
Okay, now I just gotta figure out how to get back here again.
If you want, I think I can probably knock it out.
Can you do that? 'Cause
Yeah.
I got,
Let's see, where did it go? Well, I can do it this way then.
oh, here's my share.
Yeah, just
Okay, I'm not sharing anymore. I want to unshare.
yeah. I'm gonna just kick my
There we
share
go.
in
Okay,
and that stops it.
good enough. Thank
I
you.
know there's another way to do it, but I couldn't remember what it is quick. But no, that's great. And Brandy, I know you texted me to call because I think you're doing it next month, right? And you don't have to do fancy videos like Pat and I just did. You can just show a slide images from your computer.
All right,
Or you
yeah.
can get fancy like we do.
Right, yeah. Well, if you get a minute, just call, because I kind of want to walk, because I never did anything like this. So I
Sure.
kind of want to
And
walk some questions past you.
no problem. I've just been super busy, but I'll try
No
to
problem. I got a ways
let you
to
know.
go, so.
Yeah. But I don't want you to get scared that when you see us do some of the more fancier things, you don't have to get fancy. You've seen a lot of them where they just show their images right on the screen. So.
All right, appreciate it, because yeah.
No problem. I just wanted to make sure that I let you know that I hadn't forgotten you. I've just had a super busy weekend with Rev War. So.
No problem, and that's why I text you instead of calling, so.
Yeah. No problem.
Appreciate it.
Lene, one thing I forgot to mention, I sent a proof out for the group shot. I got a few responses. I got some stuff fixed, but I haven't, I still got some names that still have question marks. So I will send out the final version that I have. I thank everybody that sent me corrections because I started doing this late at night and I missed a couple simple ones. Like I skipped Jesse completely and went to the next person and that. So it's always nice to have people correct the mistakes that I made. So I will get the final version out. They'll just have some question marks because there's some people I just didn't know. So.
Sounds good. And Randy, when you share next month, just know that this group is so forgiving. How many months have I been doing this and I'm still struggling to get the video right? So it's, we don't get paid for this. It's all good. We're friends. We're all learning from one another. With that, then, I think before we get to the waterfall how-tos, really, I think the only thing left then is the Boca slideshow with some really cool, like, zoo animals afterwards. So I am going to share my screen. I'm hitting share sound, optimizing, actually going to the right page this time, and let's see if I can do it. And
You haven't shared yet.
I haven't. Oh,
No.
wait. Yes, you know what? See, Randy, this is what, 10 months? Okay, now let me try.
There you go.
Okay, thank you.
And we hear sound. So. Except we're not seeing the show.
Yeah, I was gonna say. Okay, one more time.
Okay, now we see the show. Yeah.
Ah, stressful, but again, we're all friends. And we're back. Those photos were excellent. Thank you, guys. And are we back on live or are you still looking at my screen?
I believe we're fine.
Okay, good.
you're
Jeff, you're
okay.
looking off. I'm like, oh no, I still have it. So thank you guys very much for the May photos. Again, June, either the flower shots or macro. And then I guess right now, guys, Ken and Jeff, would you like to do a waterfall how-to show for us for presentation?
Yeah, this should be interesting. Because Ken and I haven't talked about this one for I don't know how many years. And I want to thank Ken for putting most of it back together from the show that I sent him that we had done a couple years back. So, Ken, do you want me to take the lead or?
Well, I just want to mention one thing is that this is how I got started in photography was Waterfalls. I saw an ad in the paper for UW Waukesha School that was running a waterfall and fall color trip in the early 2000s. And I had such a great time that I went to the same tour for 10 years in a row and just had a great time with it. So I've learned a lot about waterfalls and where they are in Upper Michigan and Minnesota, and I really enjoy it. And like here, I've got sights, sounds, surroundings, and stories. It's nice when you're walking on a trail and you're approaching a waterfall, then you can start hearing it, and then you see it, and then you can enjoy it. And I always have. It's been a fun part of photography for me.
So you want me to talk about equipment? I guess
Yeah.
I'll start and you jump in, Ken.
Sure.
Well, it does not take a lot of equipment to do waterfalls. It basically takes a camera. If you've got an L bracket, which is just a metal bracket that's on the bottom and goes up on the side so that you can turn the camera from horizontal to vertical without having to tilt your ball head or the head of your on your tripod. You need a wide angle to telephoto lens. Basically all the same gear that you normally would carry, you would have to do waterfalls. Doesn't take any special equipment really other than the camera, wide angle to telephoto lenses, tripod, a remote shutter release, or you can do, Ken does this more than I do. He uses a self timer on his camera that gives it a couple seconds before it takes a picture, and that lets the camera settle down when it takes the photo. A polarizing filter works really well, helps you see through the water and get a little better shot. Plus it will help you slow your shutter speed down to get some of that longer exposures.
It
Lens
also takes
cleaner.
some of the glare off, Jeff, with the
Right.
water on the rocks and stuff.
Yep, that too. Lens cleaner and cloth, because you're by water that a lot of times is splashing or misting up into your camera, and you need to be able to clean that front of that lens element. And a neutral density filter that will help you slow your shutter speed down to get that silky look in the water, which is what I like. Now, not everybody likes that silky look, but we'll show a number of different examples. This is just a shot of some of the equipment that I use. You've got the neutral density filters. I use an intervalometer that gets me a 1 minute exposure because I like really long exposures for waterfalls. Now, that's all personal taste, and we'll get into a lot of that. Tripods, it doesn't matter the size. I have two different size tripods. I have my regular heavy duty tripod, but if I'm hiking in 1 mile, 2 miles to a waterfall, which I really don't do much these days, I use that smaller tripod, which is about a quarter of the weight of the big tripod, because you definitely need a tripod that's going to steady the camera, because you're usually going to do longer exposures because you're in the dark. You need to keep your lens clean. I don't know, I think, hopefully you can see my cursor, and actually, right, Ken, the next one shows
them, yeah.
Shows the water drops that you can get from being at a waterfall where there's a lot of mist. And that's why you need that cleaning cloth to keep wiping that lens clean, so that you don't get the water droplets, which are very hard to remove in Photoshop. Although the latest version of Photoshop is probably getting a little better at it than it used to be. Camera settings, for me especially, I think pretty much for Ken too. I like to use a high aperture number, usually f14 or higher. I usually am up at 16 or 22, which is good for focus and gets me my long shutter speeds. You can use the lowest ISO settings that your camera has, so to get you the longer shutter speeds that I normally want. You can take multiple photos with different shutter speeds. I know Ken does this more than I do. He does the quicker ones, and by quicker I mean 1/8 of a second, 1/4 second, 1/3 of a second. I'm usually at 1 second, 5 seconds, 10 seconds, 20 seconds, up to a minute. I like the real long exposures because it makes the water look really silky. But it all depends on the waterfall too. So you could see here, 1/5 of a second, you get one type of look, and you can notice it more at the base of the waterfall than on the water falling. But as you go to 0.4 seconds and 1.3 seconds, you can see how things start to smooth out even a little bit more.
Yeah, so I usually take multiple shots and then I decide which one I like when I get back home.
Yeah, and that's always, since you're at the waterfall, you might as well take as many as you can. Now, here's where I come in. I like 4 seconds, and here's one at f32 at 4 seconds, ISO 200. And if I'm
Jeff?
doing a close-up
Jeff?
one,
There's no images being shown.
the images disappeared?
Yes.
I can see
still
'em.
see 'em.
I
Yeah, I see them.
I see the
Okay.
4 seconds and the 1.5.
Yep, I see them
Same.
also.
Okay. Well, that's good.
I see them too. Chris here.
Yeah, all right. Could be maybe your internet's slower and it's taking longer to get the slide up. So we got the 4 second one up here, which gets you a little more silky look. But if you zoom in closer, then I usually go to a little shorter at 1.5 seconds at the same. So I do somewhat the same thing that Ken does. I try different exposures when I'm shooting, because, you know, you're there, why not try all sorts of exposures? And here's one, this is at, okay, Ken, my mind blanked.
Well, we call it Miners Beach. It's Elliott Falls.
Yeah.
It's,
Picture rock, right?
yes.
Yeah, it's in the Picture Rock area. The water keeps getting less and less every time I've gone there lately. I don't know how it is lately.
Well, I had some very good water last fall, Jeff.
Did you?
It's actually
Yeah.
very good, yeah.
Where
Yeah, it
is
all depends on the rain.
I heard you say Picture Rock, but where?
That's in UP near Munising, Michigan, Upper Michigan, in the Upper Peninsula. It's in Picture Rock State Park, or National Park.
Just east
National.
of Marquette,
Yeah.
Michigan, Upper Peninsula, on Lake Superior.
And we have some slides coming up, I think, that shows all the different locations to help give you a better idea. But the longer exposure on these types of waterfalls, when you've got little water running, makes it look like there's more water than there actually is. So that's why 10 seconds at f22 can work real well. Then this is not Bond Falls, Tequanimon Falls. And what I like about this, I did, this is one of mine at 90 seconds. And what happens with 90 seconds, of course, the water gets really silky smooth, but you end up starting to see all the patterns in the water from the foam. And the foam by itself usually looks pretty ugly. And when you get a longer exposure, it all of a sudden now turns into just a nice white pattern thing. that you don't have to remove. And yet you got to make sure it's a really quiet day. Otherwise this brush in a 90-second shot will get very blurry. And also you can see how the clouds, with the wind coming in the right direction, then you get the clouds streaking as well. So long exposures are my thing. Ken does them too, pretty much. Does a great job with them. But he shoots generally slower. I shoot one photo every 1 or 2 minutes, and he's probably got 5 or 10 shot in the same amount of time. So there are different types of shots. You can photograph the overall scene, photograph from different angles, you know, walk around that waterfall where you can. I used to walk into the water. I'm not quite near as steady anymore. Photographing details, you know, that's where the telephoto lens comes in. You can photograph stuff up close. And you don't, a lot of times you don't want to include the sky. Ken sort of taught me that one, because the sky gets blown out. Unless you get some decent clouds, generally having the sky doesn't work too well. And Ken, I'm doing all the talking.
I'll jump in when I feel the need for it.
Here's one of Ken's favorite. I think these are all your waterfall shots, Ken.
Yeah, this is all Bond Falls, and that's the left upper corner is kind of a general overall look. And then it gets a little smaller in the picture to the right, and then it gets very tight on the bottom two.
And I always kid Ken that the Z there is not really a real thing. It was man-made, but it's turned into
a concrete there if you really work at it.
Yeah, it's a concrete thing because this is just downstream of a dam, but it's a great shot. And Ken's got the nice colors. You do this in fall, you get these nice colors. I don't think this color is even showing up as much anymore because the red tree is down on the other side of this river and waterfall. But this has been a fun one to photograph for all the years that we've gone.
Yeah, you know, my experience on all those trips I went with UW Waukesha, we were always there in the evening. I've never seen color there all the years I went on those trips. And then I went there by myself one day in the sun, and I discovered that if you're there from after 12 noon, between 12 noon and 5 o'clock, you get these great colors if the trees are in good color.
Yeah, that was something Ken taught me because I never noticed the color. And I always got there at strange times at this waterfall. And here's even more details that he's got. And you can see you get this color more during the middle of the day because it's reflecting off the trees, fall colored trees. And then, you know, you should shoot in different angles. This is Ken's, I know, because I have never gotten to this waterfall. But standing in the water always works better if you can. So either bring shoes to get yourself wet or waders, whatever.
It was not very deep at all. I took my socks and shoes off, and it's only 6 inches deep.
Yeah. But finding different angles instead of just shooting this straight on always helps. The best time to do waterfalls is usually early morning or evening. You get the warmer light during the day, in the early morning or the evening. I find cloudy days and overcast days really are my favorite because you get slower shutter speeds then, and you don't get as much glare or hot spots in the water. Sunny days are good, as we just talked about, like at Bond Falls, to get colorful fall reflections. but you want to watch out that you don't get too strong of beams of light that will just blow out parts of the water. And you can keep coming back to these waterfalls. They're always changing, and the weather's always changing. So you may come and not get something real great one time, but you come back the next day and you'll get a whole different set of conditions and maybe better waterfalls. This shows what happens when you shoot in a bad time of the day, where you get the hot spots, and there's just no way to recover these hot spots. I've tried it with extensive bracketing and doing HDR, and this, I believe, is probably an HDR shot, and you still can't recover those highlights that are just blown away. So you have to find a time where it's either overcast to get nice even lighting, or pick a different time of the day where the light is hitting it in a different spot in a better way. Time of the year to photograph, spring is really good for high water, except for when I go with you, and then you'll have low water because you won't have any rains in spring. I seem to always come when there's low water. Summer water levels can be lower, so you have to watch it. I think we went to Gooseberry once and it was barely running one summer because they hardly had any rain. Fall is a good time because you've got colorful backgrounds and reflections. Winter, I guess, can be good for snow and ice. Ken has to talk to that because I don't go out in winter for waterfalls. But you can see the difference in low water one year over high water the next year. Boy, the one on the left is, I must have been with you with that one, Ken, and I wasn't there on the one later.
Yeah, yeah.
Bond Falls is really an interesting place to shoot. You've got a lot of opportunities there, a number of different cascades, and then this main waterfall, which lends itself to a lot of good times. Spring is the best for that one. Tequanimon Falls, that one always has a lot of water running because it's a big waterfall. You could see Bond Falls in winter. That does look interesting. I do not like walking in snow, and I don't like cold. So that's Ken.
Yeah, the one on the lower corner is Kakabika Falls, right near Bond Falls. And right now, on the left bottom, you see this, it's got a good water flow, and it looks good with the silky water. And I've been there when it's just been a trickle also. So what happens is if there's a lake that feeds this, and when it rains, the lake overflows and fills that river up. And then you really have some nice water. But if it's not raining, it can really get low.
Okay, now on to the section where we show you all the different waterfalls we've gone to. We'll wake you up when we're done with this part of our section, but we've shot in a number of spots. Oh, Ken shot in a lot of spots. I've shot in a lot, and we shoot a lot together along with Brian, comes with us quite often. But we got the Upper Michigan. The UP is loaded with waterfalls. They're all pretty easy to get to. And they're nice. There's a lot of nice locations there. Minnesota's North Shore along Lake Superior has a lot of different state parks and with waterfalls from Duluth to the Canadian border. And even, I don't think we have any in here from the one that's in Canada that's just across the border.
I think there might be one in there, Jeff.
Is there one in there of that? I can't remember. So we'll start with Michigan waterfalls because that's the easiest ones to get to. there are a lot of good books out there. We found The Waterfalls of Michigan by Phil Stagg. It's a set of 4 books. I think I have all 3 of these 3 that I use. There's also a guide to 199 Michigan waterfalls by Pill Benrose. These books are really helpful to get you to the right spots, because some of these waterfalls can be harder to find, but a lot of them are pretty easy. This is one of the easy ones. It's Tequanimon Falls, and there's actually 2 waterfalls, the upper and the lower falls. And it's in Tequanimon State Park, right? State Park?
Yeah, it's a state park.
Yeah.
You'll need a pass for that one.
Yeah, you need a pass for this one to get in.
Actually, you need one for Bond Falls also.
Yeah. And that's Michigan too, right, Ken?
Yeah, that's in Michigan.
Yeah, it's in Michigan. So, but Tequanimon has a lot of neat spots. It's easy to walk to because there's boardwalks all over.
Yeah, you do have 100 stairs that go up and down, but for the big falls, and it's just north of Newberry, Michigan, and there's a little town called Paradise that's within 10 miles of Tequanimon Falls. And this is these are the lower falls here.
Yeah. You could basically, we've spent 1 or 2 days usually at this waterfall, because there's a nice hotel in Paradise, and so you can get there, photograph early in the morning, do some other stuff, and then photograph in the evening. And did we try any night stuff there? I don't remember. I think we did.
I'm not sure, Jeff.
But it's a neat park, and they've got some nice food at one. I can't remember. I think it's the Lower Falls has the food, right?
It's Lower Falls. It's a brew pub.
Yeah. So
the one on the lower left corner. For years, I had to rent a rowboat and row across. It's not far, but you just have to row a ways. Park the rowboat, and then you see this falls and a couple more. And what they did a couple of years ago is down the river, a short walk, they actually built a bridge, so that now we've got more people walking on the island than we've ever had. Sometimes it gets in the way of your photos when you're trying to photograph from the overlooks. But it is much more convenient to walk over that bridge than it is to rent the rowboat and row across the water.
Yeah, I got a shot of you rowing across
there, Ken. Ken, how long did it take you to row across there?
It doesn't take that long. It's only it's a very short trip.
Oh.
But if you got me in that rowboat, the rowboat probably would swamp. They're not very deep boats.
Yeah, and if you paid $10, the guy would take you in his motorboat across and drop you off and then come back and pick you up, which I've done that once too. But not anymore. We can walk all the way over the bridge now.
Yeah. Yeah, it makes it nice. You can walk all around that island and get a lot of neat shots. Elliott Falls, which is the one that we call Miners Beach, it's in Miners Castle.
Yeah, it's on the way to Miners Castle, and I don't think we have a picture of that in here because we're just doing waterfalls, but Miners Castle is a rock formation on Lake Superior, and there's an overlook that you can photograph that in Lake Superior.
I think, yeah, it's right here, probably. And then on the way to Elliott's Falls is Miners Falls. You just take this road here and you go straight, and that takes you to a split that takes you to Miners Castle, and then the other way takes you to Elliott Falls. And this is Miners Falls. You park here, and then you got a nice little hike to the falls. But it's a big, tall waterfalls. Not a lot of angles to be able to shoot at. It had a stairway down, didn't it, partway?
Well, the stairway, yeah, I mean, there's a stairway that takes you to an overlook. But then below that, at one time they had another overlook below where we shoot from. And that way you would have gotten a much better photo for. And people do climb over the ramp and walk down this fairly steep incline to get down to the base of this fall. But I'm too old to do that kind of stuff anymore. So I've always used the overlook.
Yeah, me too. I'm not a big climber. Chapel Falls, Ken, you'll have to talk about that one because I've never been to that one.
Yeah, that one's further east of where Miners Beach is, and it's a longer hike. It's over a mile, and
Well, we got 2 mile hike one way.
well, I don't know if it's 2 miles one way or 2 miles the round trip, but it is a long walk. And actually, hikers go further than this because you can walk all the way to Lake Superior, and you get to see that rock formation down there by the beach. But this can be a nice waterfall. It does have that tree branch going across that kind of blocks the middle of the waterfall, but it's still an attractive waterfall, and it's I've only been there 3 or 4 times, and in the last several years I haven't gone down that walk at all. So we just skipped that one.
And Mosquito Falls
is another pathway. You could go to the right to go to Chapel Falls, or go to the left to get to Mosquito Falls. It's a little bit farther walk again, and there's not much room to photograph this thing. We are shooting with our back to a ledge there. I've only done this one once.
Yeah, and I don't think I've ever been there. Munising Falls is right in downtown Munising, so it's pretty easy falls. It's a short walk from a parking lot, and you get a lot of interesting shots. This is off to the left side of it, up a trail that they have. You used to be able to walk behind it. You can't anymore. Now they blocked that part off. But
yeah, the other thing with that, Jeff, is that it just got the sidewalk that goes to the falls just got washed out.
Did it?
So
Okay.
That Waterfalls is now closed.
Oh,
yeah.
I
think
that happened. What, last year?
No, this spring.
This
last
spring?
week.
Oh, okay. Jeez.
Yeah, that walkway's closed off.
Yeah.
Yeah, interesting. Well, hopefully they'll get it reopened, but who knows? Yeah. Algier Falls. Can you? That's the one right before Wagner, right? That's the one where.
That's the one where you took that picture of the leaf in the water.
The leaf. Yeah.
So
I didn't put that. I should put that into this shot. It's just right off the road, so it's easy to get to.
What Jeff did is he saw this leaf in there and he took a picture of it. And then a good friend of ours, John Dykstra, said, "Oh, I put that leaf there." So he is there earlier in the day, and he put a nice red leaf in there. And then Jeff was able to photograph it, thinking it was naturally placed there.
Yeah, I actually ran into John not too far after I'd taken the picture, and he did tell me, he climbed up in there and shoved the leaf in, and it's one of my favorite shots. But yeah, it is sort of a stage shot. It wasn't staged for me, it was staged for John, but I've never seen the shot that John took. But it's a little waterfall, but if there hasn't been a lot of rain, then it's usually not that much full of water. This time it was pretty good. I think this is probably Ken and I's our favorite waterfall, Wagner Falls, just outside of Munising and not far from Algier Falls. Now this one too, I see the whole deck got destroyed that we used to shoot on. That happened this spring as well. I saw some shots of that. So I'm not sure if this is even open right now or not, but they must have gotten a lot of rain at one time, because I saw that the whole deck that we used to shoot from, which might be good. Maybe they won't put that deck back. They'll just stop it and we could go back to walk. I used to shoot in the middle of the water on this falls because it's a nice shot and helps you get around some of the fallen branches. But it's always very well tree covered, so it's an easy walk. It's a very short walk, and it's always been a nice waterfall. It's one of my favorites that I've shot for many a year.
I also noticed, Jeff, that there's many more trees that fell into this waterfall too.
Yeah.
It's getting to where it's not as attractive as what this photo is.
Right. And soon it's going to need Photoshop to get rid of the trees. But it's still one of my favorite, maybe because I photographed it for probably the last 15 or 20 years.
Yeah, Brian is always more nimble than Jeff and I, and so he's able to get underneath the deck and walk over there and shoot in the middle.
Yeah.
It's harder for me to do it. I still do it occasionally, but Jeff.
Yeah, I have a hard time climbing over fences and underneath the thing. But when I first started shooting that waterfall, there was just a dirt path and you could walk right into the water. I shot it when we were still shooting film back in the olden days of photography.
Yeah, it helps to do yoga. It helps to do yoga.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Maybe I'll have to start going to yoga class.
Yeah.
Agate Falls. Ken, why don't you talk about that one? Because I never get
that one's not too far from Bond Falls. It's south of Bond Falls. The only problem with this falls is there's only one overview to photograph it, and this is pretty much a shot. It's a fairly steep hill to get down there. I know people have gone down there, but it would not be an easy walk because of the steepness of the thing. I know years ago, I think it might have been easier to get to. The shoreline is there. There's a trestle right to the left of it, and I think some people have actually walked on that trestle to photograph part of that river. But it's I'm too intimidated to try to do something like that, and so I shoot from the overlook. And with the milky type waves, it's not that bad.
Autrain Falls is just off of Highway 94 to Autrain Forest Road, and then you take Power Dam Road there. It's a steep walk down to get to the falls, but it's sort of a large falls with lots of little sections of waterfalls and a lot of different levels, and so you can get a lot of interesting shots there. Especially, well, in fall, there's a lot of evergreen trees around it, but in fall you do get some little more colorful yellow leaves from some of the stuff upriver, and if it's lit up right, it works pretty nice.
Yeah, it's got all those layers on there, and it really You get good reflections sometimes in those layers, and I mean, Jeff's got good color in this one. And it's you can actually walk in there and get close to things. So it's kind of a fun waterfall to do, and it's worth going to.
Yeah. Scott Falls is nice and easy. You park across Highway 28 and you just walk across the street, heavy traffic street, and down a little bit, and you've got this nice little waterfall. It's right near Lake Superior itself, and yeah, it's just a neat little waterfall, something you can do in 20 or 30 minutes. And it's only a 2-minute walk, if anything.
And you can walk underneath the falls.
Yeah. Spray Falls, that one, Ken, you got to talk about because I've never got.
Well, this one of the nice things about Pictured Rocks is they have a cruise that goes out there multiple times a day. It's a great cruise. You don't see much color in this photo, but a lot of the colors of the minerals leaches into that sandstone rock. And so you've got all these great color formation rocks that you can photograph when you're on that boat. And so I've done that several times. I really enjoy it. And then one of the longer rides is it does go by the Spray Falls. And so the boat is moving, so you got to use a faster shutter speed, and that's why you don't see any silky water coming this way. But the boat ride is great. I recommend it.
We probably need to speed up, Ken, because we've got another 60 slides.
All that I'm going to say about this one is that I've been going here for over 10 years, and this is the only time I've seen water that went all the way from the left to the right. Normally, it's just sticks to the left-hand side and maybe covers 3 or 4 feet, and the rest of it on the right is all dry rock. So this just happened to be a great time to photograph this. Sable Falls is on the eastern end of the park, and that, you get good, nice water. You can get some nice shots like that.
And Prescott Isle River is a fun one for both of us. Ken shoots a lot of these. They've got the kettles or the holes there, and this was shot from the side, but there's also a suspension bridge that you can walk across or stand in the middle of and wait a long time till nobody's walking on it, and then you can shoot upriver quite a bit.
And Brian's got a favorite photo from here too. I was actually walking on a sandstone ledge across by the river to get this one.
Yeah, and then so you can see on the left, this is, I think, from the suspension bridge, isn't it, Ken?
Yeah, that's from the bridge. Both of them are.
We've even been there when there's been people in those holes in that waterfall. Okay, I can't say that one. Menomonee?
Yeah, this is the same river, just a little walk. They've got a nice boardwalk there. That boardwalk will take you to this falls also. And it's a great park for walking to different areas. Jeff likes to go along the shore and into the other side of the river. There's a lot of places to go to. It's kind of in the middle of the park. It's kind of a smaller falls. This is on the Black River. There's 4 or 5 waterfalls on the Black River. So this is one of the first waterfalls there. Gabriel Falls is kind of hard to get to, and it's not a great view from it. I've only got this shot once there. And we got Potawatomi kind of splits in half.
Yeah, this is all along one trail, I think, that we walked, wasn't it?
Well, there's two
'Cause-
parking areas.
Yeah. Because
This was a prettier one that I liked, was the Gorge Falls.
you can see on the map that you're parking here and you're walking to, here's the first one, and this is the Gorge Falls up here. You can see somehow I shot all along this area.
I've only been here once. It was I enjoyed the waterfall. It was a fairly steep walk down. Even the gravel road going down there was fairly steep, but and then you had to walk on the edge of the river to get to there. But I enjoyed the waterfall. This is Kakabika again, and like I said, when the water is flowing, it can be a great place.
Yeah, and it's not really that hard to get to it. There's a lot of cascades on this waterfall.
Yeah, yeah.
Actually, I think I call it more a cascade area than an actual
Yeah,
waterfall.
it's not really a waterfall. It is cascades.
Yeah, but they're just as much fun as a waterfall is.
And if you get there in the morning with the sun, you sometimes get that golden color in the water. That was taken right after sunrise.
And it's always worth, doing some video and trying different things with the now that most of our cameras can do video. That's why we're starting to, Ken's added a bunch of videos to all these slides. So you can see how it's running and what you can actually get doing it. And I want to play with different shutter speeds in video to see what you can get for making the water look a little more interesting. And Ken, I don't think I've been to Black Slate, have I?
It's in the Keweenaw. Did I say that right?
Yeah, you got it right. Keweenaw Peninsula.
Peninsula. Bonanza Falls is right near our hotel in Silver City, just down the road. You need a lot of water for that one. Again, we got Bond Falls, which we've talked more than we need to.
Yeah, can tell it's Ken's favorite waterfall.
I did get the Milky Way there one night.
Yeah, I think that's neat. I'd like to do that sometime. But the Z, I don't think we get that kind of color as much anymore in the Z. But there's a Z shape from the waterfall that really creates a nice, interesting look.
It was below zero that morning.
Oh, that's why I don't do that.
Canyon Falls is Highway 41, not far from 141. You're very limited to what you can photograph there. It's hard to photograph. You can walk further down the river and get a longer distance shot of it.
Which
but
I think
it's
it
a
might
pretty
be
area.
that.
And this is the fall, and you can see the fall color, and it's very pretty in fall. It's a nice walk. That's also Keweenaw Peninsula, Eagle River, right off the highway.
Yeah, you shoot that off of a bridge.
Yeah.
Okay, we're into Minnesota next. We'll try to keep this moving and try to get it done by 9. I think we might. But the North Shore, Ken introduced me to the North Shore. I had never gone before, and he raved about the North Shore, told me about how all the water is running all the time in spring and that. And it's been an interesting spot to go to. There's a lot of different waterfalls, a couple of different books. The Lake Superior Travel Guide has a lot of good info on the waterfalls. And then, of course, there's the waterfalls of Minnesota's North Shore. So there's a lot of different things to get information on these waterfalls. The nice part, a lot of them are pretty easy to get to.
That's right
M&T.
in Duluth area. It's not far from downtown. It's more of a
Yeah, and this
cascade
is,
again.
yeah, and this is just shooting off of a bridge, right?
Yeah.
So, you park your car, you walk in the middle of a bridge, and you're able to shoot this nice waterfall. Lester Falls is just a little farther down. There's a whole road that goes right through this park, right near Duluth.
Yeah.
Gooseberry Falls, it's a nice big national park, not national, state park. Fairly accessible. There's concrete paths all the way to it. I know the first time Ken brought me to it, he kept raving how much water there'd be, and there was hardly any. But I finally got there in a couple years where there was actually water going over the falls. But
Plus, they have 3 or 4 different waterfalls, so you can walk around and you can photograph maybe 4 to 5 waterfalls. Now there they are.
yeah, you got the real big one, and then you got a bunch of little ones, and you can go downstream, you can go upstream, and they're all fairly easy hikes or walks, and pretty level areas to be able to shoot to get nice sections of the Cascades and different parts of the falls. Beaver River Falls is going just a little bit farther north. You've got a little parking lot there, I believe,
And you shoot
and
right
then you
from
just
the
shoot
bridge again.
right from the bridge going across it. Why don't you talk about this one? Because I haven't gotten to the High Falls, I don't think.
Well, I think this one, I've only been to that one, the Baptism River Cascade Falls once. And I think the following year it washed out, so you weren't able to get to it, and I've never gone back again. And then I'm thinking, go to the next one, Jeff.
Yeah, that's the High Falls. That
Yeah,
one
that's
I know
High
I've never
Falls.
made.
That's kind of a longer walk, and it does have a lot of stairs, and you walk on one of these narrow metal bridges to cross the river, and then you come down on the right-hand side. So it's a longer hike, a steeper hike. I've done it 3 or 4 times, and but it can be very good.
I think I've done Caribou Falls. It's not
No, you've
as
never
much.
done that one, Jeff.
Didn't I? Okay.
No.
Some of these I just, yeah.
That's the one where I walked into water to get the different angle.
Oh, okay. Yeah, and there's a different angle of it.
Yeah.
Cross River Falls, that's another one we shoot from the bridge, isn't it?
Yes, that's another bridge shot, and we've been here with some good water and good flows.
Temperance River has a number of good shots. Yeah, and there's that's the highway with the bridge up there, and you stand on another bridgeway and can photograph it, and then it goes right out into the Lake Superior. So it's not too hard to get to.
Yeah, well, there's another whole section of it that's
Right.
going in the other direction, and that one, it's a little harder to get up the first. You're walking on slate rocks, but it's I wouldn't say challenging, but it's a little more difficult than to get to, and I didn't think it was worthwhile to do the whole thing, although I was there one time when the water was actually pretty good.
Yeah, I'm not too great on rocks anymore, so I don't get to go to a lot of those places. I stay close to the freeway. And here's some more of the Temperance River, and Hidden Falls is the one that you was a little harder to walk to, I believe. Cascade River Falls, that's right off of Highway 61, and a little bit of a hike upstairs and that, but you can get some really interesting shots. There is a little place that you can climb in to get some of these shots, and then others are just right off a bridge and that. So
yeah, it's one of my favorite falls is that Triple Falls in the upper left corner there in Cascade. It's one of my favorites. It's getting a little more crowded now with overgrowth, getting a little more difficult to photograph. Devil's Kettle, I only went to once. It was a long walk and challenging walk, and I made it there once. And as you see, it's not the best photo, but they call it the upper falls goes under the rocks and comes out at the on the right hand side.
High Falls Pigeon River, it's right near the border of Minnesota and Canada. It's a nice pathway walk to get to it. You definitely need a cleaning cloth because the mist generally hits you, but it's a couple of really nice waterfalls.
Yeah, it can be a great place.
Yeah, if you get lucky with the right mist and the right sun angle, you can get a rainbow. But it's a pretty waterfall, and it's got two different viewpoints that you can shoot from. The St. Louis River Jay Cooks State Park in Minnesota. It's I'm trying to remember it.
It's southwest of Duluth.
Yeah. Sometimes.
A lot of cascades in there.
Yeah. Yeah, and then there's an island you can walk to.
Yeah, there's a bridge that goes over the river that takes you to the other side. That bridge is washed out twice already over the years.
But there's lots of different places to shoot in Jay Cook, so.
Beautiful rock formations in there.
Yeah. Other sites to see in the North Shore. This is why Ken and I like to go there. You've got a lot of picturesque stuff between Split Rock Lighthouse, a cargo ship area, and the lift bridge that's in Duluth, Superior area.
And that's Amnacan Falls, just before you get to Duluth.
Right. And there's Dell's Mill in Augusta, Wisconsin. You got a nice little waterfall in a mill. we just mentioned Amaken Falls. It's right before you get to Duluth. It's a fairly easy falls. I usually get separated from Ken because I go across that little bridge onto the island, and there's all sorts of places to shoot on the island. And there's different cascades by Amaken Falls, and on that island, that's the picture on the right is from the island area. Big Manitou Falls near Duluth.
Yeah, that's actually in Wisconsin, and it's Patterson Park, and that's Big Manitou Falls, and then there's the Little Manitou Falls.
Yeah, which we've got right here. I don't know if I photographed Big Manitou. I don't remember it. Little Manitou, I remember. Oh, I think I did do Big Manitou. It had a lot of bugs flying.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Duluth aerial bridge, lift bridge, it can be a lot of fun to photograph, especially at night, during the day, and if you get lucky, and there you can get this stuff from the hotels, and there's hotels right next to this bridge. You can get the shipping times for when a container ship will come through and the lift bridge will go up, and getting the photograph of the bridge, which here it is with the bridge up and a ship coming through. And so that you can spend a lot of time. There's a couple of nice parks in that area. You can shoot up high and down to the bridge. You can get, there's a lighthouse on one side of the bridge and that. So it's an interesting place to spend like a day, you know, an afternoon, evening, and the next morning, and then go on to the North Shore. Here's from Enger Tower Park, where you can see the whole area. It's also got a Japanese peace garden and walking path, and you can get a lot of interesting shots there, you know, depending on how much time you want to spend there. Here's the tower that's on the grounds and some of the flowers, and a wide angle view from up in the tower. One of my favorite lights houses is Two Harbor Lighthouse, going north into Minnesota. It's just right on a point. On the other side of the point is a bunch of ships that sometimes are docked there, where they're loading the ships with different materials. I'm never quite sure. Usually it's
I think it's usually iron ore, Jeff.
Iron ore stuff, yeah. Split Rock Park, there's a bunch of neat areas to shoot. Here's a couple of old pilings that are there that you can get at sunset and really get some nice, pretty pictures. Along with Split Rock itself, nice lighthouse to photograph. This lighthouse you can spend a lot of time at, shooting in early morning, shooting in the evening, and shooting at night. It's a great spot for Milky Way shots, and a great spot for wave action if you got a stormy day, which Ken and I have hit stormy days. We've hit quiet days. You get the sun breaking through. You can really get some interesting shots. At one time, we used to be able to walk over to that island, but Lake Superior's gotten too deep now, and you can't make that walk. Shovel Point, and oh, now see, this is one I can't pronounce. Can you do that one, Ken?
Ketchaguchi.
See, you always have trouble with Keweenaw.
Yeah.
he finally has that one right. I have problems with these. So, but
so that in the left-hand picture, that rock formation going out to the water is called Shovel Point. And there's pathways and steps that take you up there. And then once you get up there, you can look on the picture on the right, you can see where that tower is. And that's another place that you can actually drive up to the top of that. And that's got a nice viewpoint from up there too.
Hudson Mountain via gondola. It took Ken a lot of persuading me to get onto this darn gondola because it doesn't stop. And you got to sort of hop into it. And when you're carrying all sorts of camera gear, and I'm not the quickest to hop into anything, but it's a pretty view once you get up there, especially in fall. But I'll never forget trying to get into those small gondolas when we were doing it.
They've got bigger ones now, Jeff.
Yeah, that's right. But when we first did it, they were barely room for two people. Artist Point in Grand Marais. I got to give credit to Ken. I was shooting in the opposite direction from this shot, and Ken said, "Hey, take a look at this." And I turned around, and here was a gorgeous rainbow with storm clouds, and you know, you get this nice rocks and island that you're standing on. It's really a pretty place. You can shoot in both directions with it, and I like it, except for me. I have a hard time. There's you got to climb some steps to get up onto this rock formation and island, and for me, there's no handrail, so I have to crawl on there like I'm a little kid. But it's right downtown Grand Marais, so it's a pretty easy place to shoot from.
Yeah, it's right next to the Coast Guard.
Yeah, right next to it. And there's a lighthouse beacon there too. Hollow Rock is up in Grand Portage, way in the northern part of Minnesota. It's where Ken, Brian, and I have gone a couple of times now to shoot Milky Way shots. Plus, during the day, the little Hollow Rock is pretty neat. But it's really a good spot because there's no light around there, and you can really get some nice Milky Way photographs. Now, Ken has added a whole bunch of nice videos, so you know, it's something to remember that nowadays you can shoot video as easy as you can shoot stills, and it only takes a second or two to push the button to take a short video. So here's a bunch of videos of the different falls.
I limited to 5, Jeff.
Yeah.
You're going to need to go down below the picture.
So of course, Bond Falls, Ken's very favorite falls. Cascade Falls.
A lot of water in that one.
Yeah,
this is
a
my
lot of water here at Gooseberry.
Gooseberry Falls.
I don't think I've ever seen that much water in Gooseberry, so I must not have been with.
Brian, you were in the hospital at that time, Jeff, and Brian and I went up there, and we had super full waterfalls everywhere we went. That was in April. We had some places we had to walk on ice to get to the waterfalls, but the waterfalls themselves were excellent.
Yeah, see, it's as soon as I don't go, the water comes. And Presque Isle River, this is always a neat falls. Or cascade, really. And of course, Tequendama, we can never forget that one.
I think that's the last one, Jeff.
That's the last one. So if you have questions, want to know locations, good times to go, give Ken a call or send him an email or send me an email, and we'll be happy to, show you how to get to some of the spots and that. So it's, waterfalls are a lot of fun. It's one of my favorite things to photograph. So we'll leave it open to any questions. And hey, not bad. 3 minutes after 9, Ken.
Yeah.
See, we put them all to sleep.
Yeah, it looks like it.
I guess there's no questions.
Yeah. So with that, next month.
Jim, I see you changed your pictures. You've got the one waterfall that Jeff had in there now.
Oh, Jim Karofsky's got.
Yeah, I don't remember where this was. That's what I was going to ask you if you know where that. I think it's near a power station. I think I have another one that's sort of near there. But
Yeah, that's Train Falls.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah.
It's right next to a power station.
Yeah, and then there's a dam right on 94 that feeds it.
All right. Yeah, I'm going to see if I have that other one because that's sort of the same. I think it's in that same one, if I'm not mistaken. Let me see.
Yeah, there's a lot of great spots to shoot at Train. There's a lot of levels to it.
Get below the bridge and get out in the water. It's not too deep.
So this is the same thing, right? This is that same
it's the same thing, and then that's a power substation that's there.
All right.
So.
Right. By the way, Ken, I think the one you asked me about the other day was Now and Then Falls.
Okay.
I think that's where that was, but it happened to be a year where they said there was a lot more water than normal, which made it look bigger than it normally is.
That wasn't in Amican Falls area, was it?
I think so.
Because they have that one little waterfall there, not far from that bridge. And I think that one was called Now and Then Falls.
Right. It's been so long since I was up there, I don't really remember all of the names anymore. I've forgotten most of them, so.
Yeah, when I photograph most of them, I put a GPS thing on my camera so that I get a GPS locator, and then I can go in Lightroom and it tells me exactly where I was, and then I can tell what waterfall it is, because I could never remember any other way.
Okay.
I wish they'd build GPS into all the cameras. It would make life so much easier.
I think they said the complaint to that is it eats up so much battery time that people would rather just take something with their cell phones and then match it so they know where they were.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and Brian does that a lot. He had an app for a while for that.
Yeah, it's I don't even remember it anymore. It's been a long
Yeah.
time ago. I don't know.
But my GPS, I still move it from camera to camera, and it's got to be 15 years old, something Nikon made a long time ago, and it still works. But yeah, it does. If you keep it on with the camera, it chews up the battery power. I don't shoot with it on there as much anymore because it does go through a battery really quick. But boy, having that location information when you're shooting a waterfall is just so handy. I just carry a lot of extra batteries. Yeah. Guess that's it, Linnea.
Okay. Well, I have to say, while you guys were presenting, I was mapping on my other screen. I now know where my vacation is, not for this summer, but for next summer, which shore I'm going up. I'm like, where is this? That was fantastic. Thank you guys very much for doing that.
Well, I tell you, both shores are worth going to. They're a lot of fun, and yeah, you can get a lot of interesting pictures there.
It was beautiful.
In
Well,
general,
everybody-
the Minnesota parks are just outstanding.
Yeah.
Or
Just
civil.
don't go when I go, because then there won't be enough water.
Can you post your dates on like the
Yeah.
website? All right, well, you guys, on May 10th, or whatever, I'm sorry, the flower thing, flower field trip is the next event. Other than that, we'll see you on June 3rd.
Yeah,
Nice.
sounds like it. And after you get done shooting the flowers, come to Old Falls Village Park for Mayfest. We start at noon and we go till, I don't know, 7 or 8 o'clock. And we got live music and games and things for Mayfest this weekend. So when you're done shooting Shady Lane, you can come shoot people having fun in the park and have beer and food, which is the important part.
Sound good though.
All
Doesn't
right.
sound right.
With your camera.
So.
With your camera. All right, good night, guys.